Hi everyone, welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Brooke Chavez, and this is our daily show bringing you all the latest movie news with insight into what it all means. Joining us, as always, is our AMC Movie News Editor-in-Chief, Mr. Jon Hamm.
Greetings and salutations, everybody. It's a wonderful day. Good morning, Brooke.
Good morning. It is a wonderful day. Also joining us today is the director of the upcoming film, The Death of Superman Lives, What Happened? Mr. Jon Schnepp.
What's up? How's it going?
Very dramatic.
All right, let's get started. Director J.J. Abrams is currently out promoting his upcoming Star Trek Into Darkness, which opens in AMC theaters everywhere in about 2 weeks. However, Abrams is being bombarded by Star Wars questions wherever he goes. At a recent press event in Germany, Abrams was asked about the potential involvement of longtime Star Wars composer John Williams. Abrams has a longtime composing collaborator in Michael Giacchino. However, Abrams answered the question by saying Williams is most likely to return to score the new Star Wars. So, John, is it a good idea for Abrams to bring back John Williams instead of staying with the guy he usually works with?
You like to, there's an old sports adage that says, dance with the one who brung you, and Abrams has had a lot of success working with Giacchino in the past. They've done some really great work together. But there's a simple truth here. If you can have anybody on the planet or John Williams, you go with John Williams. I don't care if you're talking about the guy who's going to score your movie or the guy who's going to fix that cavity in your tooth. You go with John Williams. John Williams is, of course, the answer. He is Star Wars music. The music of Star Wars is one of the characters of Star Wars, and John Williams is that music. You have to bring him back. I mean, you didn't have to bring Harrison Ford back. You don't have to bring Mark Hamill back. You don't have to bring Carrie Fisher back. You can make a Star Wars film without those characters. But you must bring John Williams back unless he's dead. Then maybe you can do it without him. Maybe. I'd still rather his cold, dead corpse over 99% of the composers out there. But if you have him as an option, you go with John Williams. Schnepp, what about you?
Yeah, absolutely. You can't do Star Wars without John Williams. I mean, the entire, Star Wars a long time ago, that's John Williams. You can't not have that. It's C-3PO, R2-D2. They're the constant in all 9 of the movies. That's what was said 30 years ago, and John Williams is the other constant. So, I mean, and it's not a slight to the composer Michael. It's just like, yo, dude, you got to sit out on this one while I do Star Wars, then I'll have you come back on my other movies. So that's just how it's got to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if I'm playing a 2-on-2 basketball with a buddy of mine, and then all of a sudden LeBron James shows up, and my buddy says, hey, do you mind if I have LeBron on this one? What am I going to say? No, I can do better. No, of course. There's no shame in sitting down for LeBron James.
Right.
In this case, like Giacchino say, hey, yeah, I didn't get to do this one with JJ, but he had to get John Williams in order not to use me. That's a badge of honor right there, as far as I'm concerned. All right, what's next?
Yeah.
Some possible movement on the upcoming Fantastic Four reboot. As most of you know, Chronicle director Josh Trank is heading up the reboot, but little else has been made publicly known about the project. However, there are now reports that HBO's Girls star Allison Williams is being seriously considered for a role in the film. Schnepp, what do you think of this report?
I think it's great. She's awesome in Girls. I love Girls. Lena Dunham's Girls is an amazing HBO series, and this gal Allison is a great actress in it. So I think it's if she's being cast as Sue Storm, I mean, look, she might be a little too young to be Sue Storm, but I don't know how they're doing the entire reboot. I do know that they're making a 3D thing, which I've heard is incredible. So I'm really excited about this, the new Fantastic Four reboot, and I think this is great casting.
Yeah, I mean, I personally have never seen Girls. I've never watched it. I know Anne watches it all the time. She really loves it, but I haven't seen it yet myself. So for me, I can't really comment on her casting. Although you do have to kind of assume, it's like saying, okay, they're doing a Star Wars reboot, and they're going to cast Olivia Wilde, but we don't know which role she'll be playing. Really? We don't know which role she'll be playing as the only woman in the only one female character movie. So I think it's kind of safe to assume that she's probably being looked at for a Sue Storm, although there's nothing guaranteeing that, obviously. The thing that excites me most, though, is that we've been hearing for a long time that Josh Trank is doing a Fantastic Four movie, but that's all we've heard. and then it's just kind of sat there. This is the first real sign of life that we've seen it, that, oh yeah, this thing is actually happening. They are doing stuff. They are talking to people, and this thing is in motion, and it just excites me because it just reaffirms to me that, yes, they are moving ahead. We are going to get a Fantastic Four reboot, and I'm very happy about that.
I've got friends in the effects industry who are working on certain elements of that movie, so it's really moving forward. You know, so it's really bubbling under the surface. A lot of people don't know how close it's going to being, you know, ready to rock. So.
Well, all right, folks, we come to that part of the show for buy or sell. Here's how this works. Brooke's got a bunch of other issues in the world of movie news in front of her. She's going to read them off, and then Schnepp and I are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. Brooke, what do we got?
As we mentioned earlier in the show, the new Star Trek Into Darkness opens on AMC IMAX screens on May 15th. And this new IMAX poster for the film has just hit the web. In it, we see the USS Enterprise in a dogfight with the new Dreadnought-class warship. John, buy or sell this new poster?
Oh, I buy it. I think this looks incredible. I mean, what it reminds me of is like a Star Destroyer being chased by a Super Star Destroyer. I mean, that's what it kind of looks like to me, but it looks awesome because you see this little tiny USS Enterprise with this huge Dreadnought, and I love the name of it, the Dreadnought class. I think that's really cool. So for me, I buy it. What about you, Schnepp?
Yeah, totally buy it. It brings back the Wrath of Khan image of the two warships facing each other off. It's just ominous and it's scary. It's like here's the Enterprise being chased by a giant Enterprise, an evil Enterprise. So it's really exciting. Can't wait to see this movie.
A new Macbeth movie is on the way and has landed its Lord and Lady Macbeth. X-Men First Class star Michael Fassbender and Natalie Portman will star in the new adaptation. The new film will retain the play's 11th century setting and is said to use the original dialogue as well. The story follows the devious Macbeth, a Scottish lord who will stop at nothing to become king. Schnepp, buy or sell Fassbender and Portman as Lord and Lady Macbeth?
I buy this, you strange egg. What sayeth you? Yeah, I buy it. That's great casting. Fassbender and Portman, unbelievable. Macbeth's one of my favorite Shakespeare's, so I'm 100% into seeing this when it comes out. Full buy.
Yeah, I got to buy this too. If for no other reason, and I'm not being facetious here, I think every year there should be a Shakespearean translation to film. I just think there should. They're some of the most epic, wonderful, awesome stories, and it's done. And I want them in the original language, and I want them in their original setting because they're just majestic. And I love seeing different actors taking on different things. I remember one of my favorite Al Pacino role of the past 15 years is probably him playing Shylock in The Merchant of Venice. I love seeing actors step in and take on these ageless, iconic roles, and I think Fassbender and Portman are great people to throw into that mix. So yeah, for me, it's also a buy.
Actor Jon Hamm has signed on for the upcoming Despicable Me spinoff Minions in 2014. Hamm will voice Herb Overkill, husband to supervillainous Scarlet Overkill, voiced by Sandra Bullock. In Minions, we discover that minions have actually existed throughout history, always seeking out the most despicable master to serve. At a time before they met their current boss, Gru, the minions encountered Scarlet Overkill, a stylish and badass supervillain bent on world domination. John, buy or sell Minions with Hamm on board?
Buy. I really liked the first Despicable Me. I thought it was really cute. Not quite on epic Pixar level, but really cute. But my absolute favorite thing about that movie was the Minions. The Minions are awesome. Every moment they're on screen, unless you're a cold, heartless, demonic entity, you smile because they're so damn cute and they're so funny, and I love the stuff they do with them. So I'm not really big on spin-offs of animated films, but this is one I'm totally on board for, and I think Hamm, and I love his wife's name, their name Overkill. I think that's awesome. So yeah, I'm completely on board with this. Schnepp?
Buy it. Jon Hamm's been doing a ton of voiceover. He did a Death Clock episode last year. So he's a great actor. So yeah, why not let him rock some animated Minions? I'm full into it.
Gotta love those little minions.
Yes.
All right, District 9 director Neil Blomkamp and star Sharlto Copley will reteam for a third science fiction feature film, Chappie. The film is said to mix in a comedy element and boasts an unusual setting. Blomkamp and Copley first worked together on 2009's District 9. Their next, Elysium, hits AMC theaters everywhere on August 9th. Schnepp, buy or sell Blomkamp and Copley teaming together again?
By 1,000%. I can't wait for Elysium. We had to wait because of some weird switch out order. We could have seen Elysium like 1,000 times. It was supposed to come out in March. Now we have to wait till August. I can't wait to see Elysium. I love District 9. Chappie, it sounds like some weird Charlie Chaplin in the future. I'm in. I want to see it.
Yeah, I'm actually on board for this too. I'm really looking forward to Elysium. And you know what? When great directors, I'm not saying Blomkamp is a great one yet. The jury's still out, but he's certainly off to a great start. But when really good directors find an actor that they just have that great, symmetry with, that they just work really well with, I love that they go back again and again. I love the fact that Scorsese works so long with De Niro. I love that Scorsese keeps going back to DiCaprio. Tim Burton has got Johnny Depp. You got all these kinds of things. When a director, that relationship is so important. If you find somebody you work well with, keep going back to that well. I like the fact that he keeps going back to Copley because these guys have been friends for a long time, and I love that there's a loyalty element there as well. And so yeah, for me, it's an absolute buy. All right, folks, well, we've come to that point of the show now for mailbag. Listen, if you've got a topic or a question that you would like us to address on the show, simply email us anytime at amcmovietalk@gmail.com. Just send in your emails. We pick out a few every day to address on the show. Brooke's got a bunch of them pulled out. So, Brooke, what do we got in the mailbag?
Yes, Gabrielle Nichols writes, I love the show. I watch every day. I thought I'd give you guys a break from your usual comic movie related questions. I was wondering if there had been any word of a Pitch Perfect sequel coming anytime soon. The last thing I heard was that they were having trouble finding songs. My life would kind of be over if they never made a second film. Plus, Rebel Wilson as Fat Amy was priceless. If you guys could find that out for me, it would be most helpful.
Yeah, it's funny. Pitch Perfect is one of those films that I was kind of late coming to the party to because I thought the trailers were beyond garbage. I thought they were awful. And then I finally got around to seeing it because the person I was with at the time wanted to see it. So I'm like, all right, let's see it. And I thought it was delightful. I thought it was a charming little delightful movie. I really did. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I'm not as sold. I mean, I love Rebel Wilson. I wasn't as in love with Rebel Wilson's Fat Amy as most people were, but still it was good. I thought most things about the movie were great, and they are making a sequel. Universal has confirmed they are making a sequel. But I don't know where you're hearing that the holdup is that they're having trouble finding songs. Trust me, that is the last thing on their to-do list. Getting music and getting songs is not a problem whatsoever. There is no holdup. It just takes a while to pull a motion picture like this together, especially when you have a cast that big. So it is coming, and yeah, my mind has changed on it. I'm now actually kind of curious to see a Pitch Perfect 2. What about you, Schnepp?
Well, I haven't seen the first Pitch Perfect, but I also heard that they were having trouble finding songs because there's only like 40 million songs that they pick from. So I remember I heard that too. They had like this giant metallic shit like sifter with 40 million songs being compressed into it, and the producers were pulling their hair out like, I don't know how we could pick a song from the 40 million that we have. So I don't know if it's going to happen. I think the sequel's not going to happen. So.
Couldn't get the rights to Happy Birthday.
Can't get the songs. Just can't get them.
All right, what's next?
All right, Zachary from Japan writes, I started watching AMC Movie Talk when the news for the new Star Wars first broke last year. I've been a devoted viewer ever since.
Thank you, Zachary.
If I could have Campia's eloquence and Schnepp's comic timing, I would take over the world.
Which we are planning on doing. Schnepp and I are indeed planning on taking over the world.
World will be ours.
Let's talk about casting for Star Wars VII. I heard that there's a possibility that they might introduce the Skywalker twins in the next film. I can't imagine them being too young. I pictured them in their early 20s, around the same age as Luke and Leia when we were first introduced to them. I can't picture Abrams going too Hollywoody and putting a Ryan Gosling in there, but I can picture an up-and-comer like Dane DeHaan as a young Skywalker. As for the girl, what about Rooney Mara?
Thanks so much for watching from Japan. That's pretty awesome. I love our international friends here on the show. We should first point out there's been an assumption going around, and I'm one of the ones who propagate this as well, that the new Star Wars movies will have the Jedi twins, Leia and Han's twin kids. And we shouldn't assume that. There's been nothing official that comes out that says that's actually what they're going to be doing. Just because they're in all the novels doesn't mean they're going to be in the movie, because once again, the novels are not official canon. In as much as anything is official canon other than the movies. So we don't know that for sure. But let's speculate. I don't know if I would call Dane DeHaan an up-and-comer anymore. Yeah, he's already had a couple of big hit films under his belt. He was remarkable in Lawless. He's now in the new Spider-Man 2. I don't know that we can call him like some little unknown. And Rooney Mara as well. She's an Academy Award nominee. I mean, so I don't know that we can call her like some unknown up-and-comer. I would love to see Star Wars in these types of roles go by the same philosophy that George Lucas did with the original Star Wars. He got his Sir Alec Guinness, but then after that he went with all unknowns. Nobody we'd heard of before. And, you know, with this Star Wars, JJ is going to have some known actors with your Harrison Fords, of course, and stuff like that. But why not then go completely unknown with the other roles? I think that would be great personally. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't object to a Dane DeHaan playing a Jedi. I think that could actually be kind of cool. But, you know, if you're going to ask me in advance, I'd say go unknown. Schnepp, what do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it should be an unknown actors cast because, like, at this point, you know, Han Solo, Princess Leia, and Luke Skywalker are all known, and everybody's excited that the original Star Wars cast are coming back. I think that eclipses anybody else who could possibly be in it who's a known actor. So they should just rock the unknowns. So that's what I think.
All right.
Miguel B. writes, I recently stumbled onto the show, and I must say it is very informative, and I can't get enough of it.
All right.
My question is regarding 2 books that I heard were being made into movies. The first book I heard of being made into a film was Ender's Game, and the other, Starship Troopers. I know there has already been Starship Troopers films, not all good, I will admit, but the new film I heard of was supposedly going to be more faithful to the book. Both of these great sci-fi books mean a lot to me, and I was wondering if there was any news on these projects. Are they real, or is it just fans spreading rumors?
Well, let's start with Starship Troopers. There is another Starship Troopers movie, but I believe it's direct to Blu-ray. It's not a theatrical, and I believe it's a CG film. It's called Starship Troopers Invasion. And I heard it's pretty good, but once again, it's straight to home video, so that's kind of outside of our scope here. As far as Ender's Game goes, I think they're already done shooting it. So it is coming. It's done shooting. It's got the likes of Harrison Ford, Ben Kingsley, Abigail Breslin, Hallie Stanfield, Viola Davis, Asa Butterfield. So it's got a cast and a pretty impressive looking one. There have already been some still images actually released for the movie as well. It's done shooting. They're in post-production now. So yes, good news for you. It's coming. Schnepp, what did you think? I'm curious. What did you think of the original Starship Troopers? Because I know a lot of people have some very differing opinions about that film. What did you think about it?
I think it was awesome. I loved the original Starship Troopers. This Paul Verhoeven's like third best film. Like RoboCop is first, Total Recall, then Starship Troopers. So, you know, if you don't like Starship Troopers, Paul Verhoeven's, then you got to buy a sense of humor somewhere. I don't know what's wrong with you. It's really funny, dark, hard black comedy. It might not be exactly like the book, but like few science fiction films are exactly like the book. They're an interpretation, and they only have 90 minutes to get through what took you like 3 to 4 days to read, or one day if you're a super fast reader. Still, you know, books are crammed with tons of extra scenes. Like they're totally different. A book is not a movie. So, you know, usually people are irritated with book adaptations. You just have to come at it from a different perspective. If you liked the original book, you should try looking up the Starship Troopers animated series. They did a whole CG animated series. There's like 15 or 20 episodes or something. I remember seeing a bunch of them, and they're pretty fun. So check it out if you like the book more so than the movie.
Tyler Moore writes, I couldn't help but ask about the Iron Man movies and the MCU future. I've been counting down the days until Iron Man 3. Since you've seen it, I was wondering if you think an Iron Man 4 is possible.
Yeah, myself and my friends in Deutschland, Japan, India, Malaysia, and Sweden have all seen it, except for possibly John Schnepp.
I have not seen the movie yet. Zachary from Japan has already seen the movie, and I have.
I have absolutely no doubt whatsoever that there is going to be an Iron Man 4. There is. Of course, the question, and I'm not going to get into the debate whether it's a good idea or a bad idea. The only thing that is up in the air, and I don't even think it's that up in the air, is that will Robert Downey Jr. be back for Iron Man 4? And like I've said this before, I don't believe he is. I believe he's done. And I believe that for a couple of reasons. One, because of some statements he made while shooting the first Iron Man, and also some statements he said in interviews just recently. And no, for those people who keep coming back to this has nothing to do with the April Fool's story that went around on April 1st. Robert Downey Jr. really did have an interview and talked about, I think I may be done. And not so many years. I believe he will be back for Avengers 2. But his contract is now over. He's no longer under contract to Marvel or Disney to do any more Iron Man films. I do believe he'll be back for Iron Man 2, but I'm just saying that. I'm just speculating. That's just my gut feeling. But after that, I believe it's done. The character is bigger than the actor. They will go on with Iron Man. They will cast a new Tony Stark at some point. And that new guy playing Tony Stark will be in Iron Man 4. But yes, make no mistake, there will be an Iron Man 4. I have no doubt about it whatsoever. Take it to the bank. Schnepp, what do you think?
Yeah, there'll definitely be an Iron Man 4, 5, and 6. I mean, just because the way Phase 2 is working out, Avengers 3 won't even be happening until Phase 3, so they're going to have to rock an Iron Man 4 before you see Avengers 3.
Yeah.
It could just be War Machine is Iron Man 4. That could be it. You don't know if Tony Stark's going to die in Avengers 2, or he might just get injured, and it's just, I mean, who's saying that that Downey won't take a smaller supporting role and just be Tony Stark and hand the armor over to someone new, you know?
It's possible. And I'm going to give something away here. This doesn't spoil the movie. I absolutely promise you, okay? I absolutely promise you this does not spoil the movie, okay? But Iron Man doesn't die in Iron Man 3. Okay, there it is. Now, you all know at the end of Captain America, I believe it was the end of Captain America, a piece of text comes up before the credits that says, Captain America will return. And I believe in Avengers, or Thor will return, and whatever. So that same thing comes up, and it says, but it doesn't say Iron Man will return. It says Tony Stark will return. So there's been some theories going around that maybe Tony dies and some kid, Billy Bosco, steps up and becomes Iron Man, or maybe, Rhodey takes over as Iron Man like he did in the comics for a little bit. But it actually says Tony Stark will return. So I think that was their kind of way of telling us, look, we know there's all this talk about maybe Robert retiring from the role, but rest assured, Tony Stark is coming back. We are going to have Tony Stark. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Well, listen, folks, we've run out of time. Thank you so much for joining us. Listen, before you go, while I've got you, take a second and click that subscribe button. Become a subscriber to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It'll keep you up to date on everything going on in the world of movie news and, of course, our daily AMC Movie Talk show. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/AMC Theaters. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/AMC Theaters. And if you want an audio-only version of the show, look in the description of this video and you'll find links to our iTunes and our Stitcher radio. And listen, go on out and see a movie tonight. Get your tickets for Iron Man 3 or Star Trek, or go and see one of the great movies that's in theaters right now. Head on over to www.amctheaters.com. You can get all of your theater, showtime, and even your movie tickets. I want to thank, as always, our lovely host today, Ms. Brooke Chavez.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you to the one and the only Mr. John Schnepp.
Hey, I'm just getting my Iron Man 3 tickets right now. I'll see you guys later.
And thank you most of all to you guys for joining us. Listen, the most important part of the show is not what we have to say, it's what you have to say. Make sure you jump into the comments section of this video and leave your thoughts on any or all of the topics that we discussed here today. So until tomorrow, my name's John Campia for AMC Movie News, and until then, bye-bye.